All right, hello everybody, and welcome back after a short 13-minute break to the Mania 7 Cube World Cup 2025 quarterfinals round. We've got one match left in the losers bracket here. It's going to be Chile, our number 10 seed, versus France, our number 15 seed, fighting for that last spot in top 12, last spot in the semifinals. Loser goes home. I am Toph Daddy, one of your commentators, joined here by Sparky to finish it off. How's it going?
It is going absolutely fantastic. What a perfect personification of out of the fryer and into the oven here for France. Literally finished their match less than 10 minutes ago against Canada, and right back at it again against Chile of all teams to try and punch their ticket into the semifinals. No rest for the weary here. We are going to hit this 100 miles an hour as we get this match underway.
Yeah, it's going to be a doozy. These two teams showing off very well so far in this tournament. But like I said, one of these two teams goes home top 16. One of them makes it into the semifinals with another chance to continue their trek into the rest of the tournament. Last spot remaining in top 12, going on to face Malaysia in the losers bracket next weekend. So one way or another, they're going to have a tough opponent ahead of them, but they've got to put all their eggs in one basket for now in this match in order to even have that opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. And France winning the roll here by the slimmest of margins, 78-76, going to opt to protect LN4.
That's an interesting decision. I think it's probably the right decision. I think Chile is going to want to stick around the rice pool for the most part, and they do protect rice 3. But France actually, like just an hour ago, protected rice 3 and banned long note 4. So could be seeing a little bit of strategy there. France feeling good on their long notes. They were looking very good against Canada on some of those long note picks, but you're looking at a map that Chile has not seen France's score for either.
Yeah, for sure. And Chile opting to do what I imagine is the logical thing. If LN4 gets protected, ban LN1. If LN1 gets protected, ban LN4. And
I'm pretty sure that's happened in every single match.
Literally, it's been one or the other, unless teams have handshaken other picks to get rid of. But every time one of them gets protected, the retaliatory pick.
Whoa!
And LN2.
Whoa! What is happening here?
All right.
What a way to start off the last match of the weekend. Double LN bans while France protected one of the other long note picks.
Maybe just not wanting to go into or give Chile the option of having a density LN pick to go into, wanting to stay with these more coordination wildcardy-esque type picks. I mean, to be fair, if it were up to them, they probably would have wanted to keep LN1 around, but unfortunately that's not how it shakes out in this instance as we wait to see what France's first pick is going to be here. Are they going to throw another curveball here? Are we going to go into something like Hybrid 3 to start things off?
We'll have to see. It's been pretty popular. Hybrid 3 has been a very popular pick, especially when it comes to those teams that are very confident in their physicality. That map is super difficult to coordinate all throughout it. Despite a lot of just pure rice difficulty, the coordination aspect is ridiculous. And rice 4 actually going to be the opening pick. So I don't think we're going to have a rice LN dichotomy here for this match.
Nope.
I think we're just going to be whatever's the most comfortable.
We are going all haymakers all the time. Swing for the fences. These hands are rated E for everybody during this match. Everybody's gonna need to come to play here because there is so much on the line for this match as we wait to see what the teams are going to be. Looks like it's gonna be Sebax and Worst.
No, we've got player swap. Worst is a French player.
They're defecting to Chile.
Yeah, Sebax and ZZ looks like is going to be for Chile, and Milan Worst look like the two coming in at the moment. Looks like they're just swapping spots right now.
Yeah, getting the lobby logistics sorted before I make more of a fool of myself than I already do. Looks like we're in the right spot.
I only knew that because I just commentated the France match like an hour ago. So
Fair enough. You've had a full hour to take in the sights of Mila, Jerem, and Worst. I imagine subbing in and out for this match.
yeah, it is. And on top of Moket, don't forget
Oh,
them.
yeah.
They did play a few. Semi-X actually maybe swapping out there.
Maybe they did ask the referee for a quick little DM, maybe wanting to invite somebody or that, or just asking for the opportunity to check something real quick. You know how courtesy goes.
Who knows? We're still waiting, continuing to swap out. Okay, that makes sense. I was waiting for Bambi to come in.
Yeah, this feels more like the cohesive Chilean rice unit.
I mean, Bambi has been pretty much in on everything for Chile so far this tournament. Definitely their anchor, and no surprise to see them coming in for what is probably the hardest to maintain consistent combo on in the entire pool. Just these patterns are so complicated, and the combination of the mini jacks and burst just will throw you off.
Absolutely. So gonna get this underway. France still trying to keep warm after going through a bit of a gauntlet. 8 maps the hour prior, winning that match 6-2 against Canada. Meanwhile, Chile having the luxury of coming into this on their own time, having that basically full day break. But ZZ actually finding the first break for the Chileans, going to give France a bit of a early cushion to work with here.
Yeah, there is a trade back by Milla. Their accuracy is looking like it's in favor of Chile overall. So despite the early miss from ZZ, they are going to take a lead. Both combos now gone from France. Bambi the only one holding on to the full combo, and despite that early miss from ZZ, finding some footing and getting up to just about 98% and above the 400 combo. All 4 players just about there as well, but Worst not able to make it before finding a few more drops, and Milla doubling up on those drops as both Chilean players just holding on super strong right now.
Yeah, absolutely. ZZ making a wonderful recovery run from those earlier drops. Worst not able to stand toe-to-toe against them on the bottom half of the lobby, and Bambi just winning the battle outright overall over Mila on the other side. Highest accuracy in the lobby by a long shot as it stands, over 0.5% as they finally go down here before too long, but still keeping themselves ahead of everybody else in the lobby and paying off in spades right now. 40,000 points to the good going into the last third of this chart.
Yeah, that miss wasn't the cleanest either by Bambi. You saw, like, in those anchors when those misses started coming out, a few bad judgments on top of it, but still maintaining the highest accuracy in the lobby and was able to recover to the 400 combo fairly easily as Worst actually finds the next break in the lobby. ZZ, like you mentioned, really great recovery after that early draw. A little bit low on the accuracy side, but being able to hold combo on this has shown to give a huge advantage to Chile, as that lead is now 65,000 points, and Worst not able to hold on to the consistency. ZZ finally finding another break after that early one, but they did it more than enough to establish a lead and give Chile an opening break point.
Yeah, starting off strong here, able to take away one of France's picks immediately right out of the gate here, and maybe throw a bit of a wrench in the works of what France was hoping to go for with regards to what they were going to end up picking through in this match. So an opportunity for Chile early on to double up on the points here, take advantage, and start off with a potential 2-0 to start things off. So have to wait and see what the pick is going to be for them for their first pick in this match.
Yeah, it almost feels like this could be a great opportunity to open up with a protect pick, though I don't know how. I mean, Chile has to have watched France just play. It was an hour ago, or at least had it open enough to see the scores, and France did quite well on Raise 3. It actually kind of surprised me to see Chile going for that as their protect, despite seeing France perform well. And Rice 1 actually going to be the opening selection for Chile.
Yeah, definitely has proven to be a bit of a risky pick, finding a surge in popularity here at the tail end of the weekend. I think we were mentioning in an earlier match together that it had mostly been ignored for large stretches of the weekend by teams. It's such a volatile pick, very easy to find chain misses left and right because the pattern structure isn't the most straightforward at times. So definitely one of the riskier picks in the rice pool to go into, as it has shown to be.
Yeah, not to mention, it is kind of your quintessential speed pick where I think there's been almost a transition in a certain sense with the Mania speed picks where it used to be like anything that was just speed streams could go into the slot, but I think recently it's been mostly pushing to really, really short maps and having smaller bursts of like long form speed, like streaming at high speeds. And this is no exception to that kind of movement into that area where this is 1 minute and 51 seconds, but I think probably only about 50 seconds of that, and is actually like the difficult speed streaming, and that's all the second half of the map. So everyone should have no problem building up to the point where the difficulty starts to spike, and then singular mistakes are going to cost you potentially upwards of 10,000 points.
For sure, we'll just have to wait and see if there are going to be any pitfalls befalling any of the players. Jerem actually subbing in for France on behalf of Force, going to be finding the first break to start things off. Better to get those misses out of the way early before things really start to pick up and kind of rebuild up a full head of steam going into some of the harder sections. But going to give Chile a bit of a cushion to work with now. 7,000 points as it stands going into the second quarter of the map as things begin to build up here.
Yeah, quite a nice lead for Chile off the back of that miss and the accuracy. Milla a little bit behind the rest of the lobby, still holding on to 99%, but Chile's players minimum at 99.5, and an early break from Jerem in the transition there. Bambi going to trade it back. It's going to give France a little bit of leeway here to get back, and it looks like that lead is kind of stuck around that 19,000, but accuracy dropping a little bit all over the place, and Chile is starting to build up more of a lead. Jerem now above 400, Bambi also above 400, all the combos back up to normal, but that lead is huge for Chile. But I mentioned singular misses and chain misses can be massive. Double miss traded between ZZ and Jerem. Combos on the top rows holding strong for now.
Yeah, but with only a sliver of chart left to go, Chile building up this full advantage to the tune of about 30,000 points. And Milla Jerem full combo reset on the side of France, going to help balloon this lead for Chile, make it a comfortable lead at the end of the day as they look to successfully capitalize on that breakpoint they picked up off France to double up the lead here, make it 2-0 to start this match off.
Yeah, that was just really well done by Chile. 3 1 misses across the board. Jerem a little bit behind, but accuracy is not too far off. Milla having a little bit of issue with holding on to the accuracy, but 200, as far as 200 counts go, France not too far behind. If we saw them full combo, that would be a lot closer, but it's just about that consistency. And I would imagine at this point, okay, they just immediately pick LN4. I was going to say, probably steering clear of the rice from now on.
Yeah, no better time to try and right the ship here a little bit by going for LN4 in this regard. I mean, the speed at which they threw that out there, I think they kind of knew, looking at that result screen, it's like, okay, we know what we need to do. The fact that they did it in sync as well, kind of alluding to being on the same page here. We're going to see Moket come in for Milla this time around. Jerem going to be holding down the fort in reserve as well as we immediately get on into it. These players kind of, I think the exploratory picks are out of the way. The time for messing around is over. It is lock in serious mode from here on out.
Yeah, no swap outs from Chile there. Bambi and ZZ staying in for this selection. Moket coming in for Milla there on the long note pick. We didn't see France play this in their previous matchup, so it's a little bit of a mystery. They performed well on LN1, though, against Canada. Tough opponent. But they seem confident enough to protect it and pick it right away after giving up that break point. An early miss from Moket, though. Before 400 combo, traded misses between ZZ and Moket. Some consistent breaks there from Moket, but the accuracy holding on extremely strong for Moket. Jerem and Bambi both a high 99% FCs right now. And just the difference between Moket and ZZ is enough for France to start taking a small lead out of this, just about 6,000 points. Though Jerem does find a break, and Bambi is holding on, keeping it within striking distance despite the high combo ability or high combo potential for this map and the just sheer length, making it harder to make up those leads, especially now that we're in 5-digit territory.
for sure. An early gap for France to kind of nurse from here on out. You always want to build that buffer early, lest you start finding the slip-ups later on down the line. But both their players in that like low 99% mark, able to kind of stave off any potential advances from the Chileans. Does put a tiny bit of a dent before starting to increase as easy the next one to find the break as we approach this bit of a calmer section, just coordinating some anchored LNs here and there. The impact's not the most abrasive to read through, but still lends itself the opportunity to release a little bit earlier than you would like, flying off the keys inadvertently. Always an issue with these coordination LNs when you start getting into those like 4 or 5 column structures. As Jerem next one to find a drop going into the second half of the chart. Bambi standing above everybody else as they finally find the slider break to bring them back down to earth a little bit. But I mean, as it stands, France looking really good on this LN4 pick so far.
Yeah, 28,000 point lead. We're seeing consistent breaks across the board. Moquette finding another one, but Bambi building up to 400. ZZ finding some footing. Haven't been able to do that too much so far, but doing what they can to bring it back. Jerem matching the combo at the moment. Right now, the difference is just accuracy. 2 players above 99% for France as we get into the last quarter. Bambi finding another drop, but ZZ a little bit behind, low 98% range, despite being able to hold on to that combo. League's going to stick around 32,000 points for France as we start to hit the final few sets of patterns in this map. Certainly not fully out of reach, but France has looked very comfortable on this so far and is establishing a lot of great combos here in this ending.
Yeah, last eighth of the chart coming through here. Not really too many tricks left up this map's sleeve as Jerem finds a slider break that's going to put a tiny spanner in the works for now. But I mean, they've put in the work for what has been basically 3.5 minutes at this point to be able to stave off any potential advances. It's quickly approaching the point of no return, 35,000 points being nigh insurmountable by the Chileans, barring any substantial collapses. And as the map ends, France manages to notch their first point on the board here, makes it 2-1, puts the brooms away early, and gets themselves back on into it, looking to try and get that breakpoint back from the Chileans as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, insane scores across the board. Bambi actually with a 0 miss run on that, with only 15 200s, looking good, but just not enough. A little bit behind in accuracy from ZZ. But still, France put up some good scores as well to put away the brooms, and Chile will have an opportunity to pick once more. They've been looking good so far on those rice picks.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they decide to go for here. And doesn't even give me time to speculate. It's going to be Rice 2 to go into Chile's next pick. Gonna go through the gamut of the, dare I say, standard picks. We got Speed Rice going into the Chord Stream. Not as comfortable as you can get outside of maybe like the Chord Jack pick, which I think they protected.
Yes, so kind of still holding on to that protect. Definitely could be used to kind of establish either like match point, or if France is able to take a break point in one of these scenarios, could be an opportunity for Chile to kind of get that back for themselves. But one way or another, they have this Rice 2 more straightforward pick in the pool. They looked good on Rice 1 and Rice 4, which they won very convincingly. But this one, definitely more straightforward pattern-wise than both of the previous 2 Rice picks that have come out. So France definitely could potentially see some way back into this match if they're able to feel more comfortable on the dense chord stream pick here.
So getting on into it, gonna have some cursory sampling of notes to dive right on into it. Gonna be a bit of a build-up before we get into the real meat and potatoes of this chart. It's gonna be basically non-stop chord stream at 178 BPM for 2.5 minutes, and it's really just a matter of consistency. Can you handle the density? Mila gonna be the first one to find the drop as Chile look to try and pull away here. A full combo reset now on the side of France, gonna help balloon this lead to about 14,000 points as Bambi and Dark Dave checking in for this pick, looking really good at the moment.
Yeah, 99.78% from Bambi. Jerem actually beating out Dark Dave's accuracy at the moment despite that miss, but Mila having a little bit of a hard time getting back above that 99%, is able to get the combo back to the 400 mark. Is looking to build that back up, but needs to do a lot more to get this back in. 21,000 points is quite a bit to try and overcome, especially staring down the double full combo from Chile at the moment halfway through. Does get a little bit more dense towards the end, so we could see some mistakes start to come out, but Jerem going to be the one to make that mistake, and that lead just starts to increase even more for Chile, nearly reaching 30,000 points here in this chorus, and Mila going to match that miss, and another double miss from France here as Chile continues to hold on to the double full combo with only one more major dense sections left in this map, and 41,000 points is looking done and dusted as long as they can hold on to this through the rest of the chart.
Yeah, just a complete 180 to that LM4 pick that we had just a little bit earlier, where France looked so convincing on it. Chile look equally as consistent on this style of rice pick to answer back, to ensure that they can keep these comfort picks rolling on their side, as there's a few more cursory misses for the road from the French players, not answered back once again. It is still the double full combo. Can they hang on to the end here? A couple of awkward bursts to read through some chord impacts. Not going to give them too much trouble as the last couple of notes begin to rain down, and it is going to be the double FC for the Chileans. Bambi and Dark Dave combining for a near immaculate team score. 990k for Bambi, 972 for Dark Dave. Able to really put this one to bed. Make it 3-1.
6-200 full combo from Bambi. Very impressive from them. And that the rice advantage for Chile continues to show its stars here in this match. France up to bat. They have a long up pick available to them. They've also got some hybrids that they can dip into, but at this point, you almost feel like France has to kind of avoid anything with the physicality that Chile can keep up with, because it's just that accuracy has been so good for Chile, and that consistency from Bambi is very difficult to overcome.
Absolutely. I mean, they do still have LN3 to go into, and there's the outside options of stuff like Hybrid 2 potentially as well, if they just really want to avoid that Rice pool. They look pretty alright on Rice 4, but before things kind of flew off the handle a little bit, so might not want to tempt fate there again. So it'll be interesting to see what the pivot is here for France if they decide to go anywhere outside of LN3.
It would be interesting. I don't really know if I could see the best two picks I think that are available for France right now are LN3 and Hybrid 2, but Hybrid 1 actually going to be the selection here. We've seen some interesting stuff from Hybrid 1. It hasn't been the most popular pick in the pool. I've only seen it a couple times this weekend, but what I did notice about it in a couple of other matches that we watched was that this is the kind of map that doesn't necessarily get decided on how good you are at long notes and rice by themselves. It is maybe the most true hybrid of the three available here, and you have to be good at both rice and long notes to perform well on it.
I think you're absolutely right with that regard. So France looking to try and maybe balance out some of those opportunities, hoping to catch out Chile on those transitional moments in this chart. We see ZZ coming back in. Bambi FNF, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, going to be the anchor for Chile as Mila and Jerem look to try and keep things relatively stable here. Did give out that breakpoint early, but if they're able to at least maintain their own picks, the opportunities will come to potentially get that breakpoint back. As ZZ finding the opening drops here to start this map off. Everybody having a bit of a torrid time outside of Jerem, I think, despite them having a pretty low accuracy to start things off here.
Yeah, it looks like actually three players not having the strongest accuracy to start. ZZ was actually down to 95. Jerem and Milla now low 98s, high 97s. The only player able to hold on to accuracy right now is that anchor Bambi for Chile right now. 99.5% as the rest of the players in the lobby start to build up. But Jerem and Milla both above ZZ at the moment. That's going to have to be their pathway into this, but they're continuing to find misses. Jerem with 2 misses back to back as Milla finds some combo there, but a double miss from France as ZZ establishes their own combo above 400 to back up Bambi with that high accuracy and a 27,000 point lead a quarter of the way through the map.
Yeah, it was looking like France was making a tiny bit of an inroad back into this map going into the end of that first quarter, but as it stands, just a couple extra misses for the road, not getting traded back by either of the Chileans, who have really kind of settled in after that bit of a rough start across the entire lobby, able to recover very nicely to back each other up. Bambi has been basically the standout performer so far this match, 99.4 for them, highest accuracy more often than not in the entire lobby, able to stave off their next closest French competitors, map in, map out, and ZZ doing more than enough to ensure that they can extend any potential advantages that they get offered, and doing it once again. Going into the last third of the chart, 57,000 points to the good, as the couple of slider breaks coming through here and there from France. It's basically just, can they keep it together long enough? They've proven it in and out, as France finding another full combo reset on their side, not able to really mount much of a challenge going into this pick as we make our way into the last quarter.
Yeah, we see another drop from ZZ, but despite that rocky start, they are now the second highest accuracy in the lobby above both French players. 80,000 point lead now. ZZ finding that consistency yet again, building up the combo, recovering again. It looks like every player in the lobby now feeling a little bit more comfortable in this ending. Everyone now at the maximum combo, but the coordination catches everybody off guard. That is a full lobby reset, and full lobby resets with the 85,000 point lead will favor Chile. On top of that, high accuracy to boot, and the repeat of the intro comes around, and Chile continuing to grow that lead. Not too much left to go, and Chile looking to take another breakpoint in this match on the first hybrid that we've brought out so far. 4-1, Chile up to bat with an opportunity to bring it to match point.
Yeah, very convincing scores overall. Looked a little bit dicey there at the beginning, but able to pull it together. The map length lending itself time for that recovery run, as you mentioned, Chile up to pick next, an opportunity to make it a match point situation if they do pick correctly, and now France needing to get 2 of those breakpoints back to try and give themselves a chance to restore parity, along with needing to win their picks. It's a bit of the hill is quickly becoming a bit of a mountain to climb. Not insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination, but can definitely become too much to handle if these next couple of picks don't go their way.
Yeah, this is almost where I would expect Chile to want to go into their protect, but I don't know if Rice 3 is even the best Rice pick available to them. If I was in their shoes, I'd go Rice 5. Pretty much like just off the rip. It's the most complex, requires the most consistency, and pretty much one player has been the consistency rock through this entire match, and that's Bambi. But they are going to go with their protect, going to stick to the Cord Jack pick, but if I'm being honest, this feels very risky.
I'm inclined to agree with you, but with the way Chile has been playing, off the back of basically just playing off of the scores Bambi's been able to put up, if they can basically hold off the highest accuracy from France, and the second player, whoever decides to come, it's probably going to be SebaX, who has come into the lobby here. If they can hold off their counterpart on the other side, they can basically weather the storm. It's long enough where there won't be immediate swings, but this could be one of those like death by 1,000 cuts types of charts where it's just singular drops here and there that get answered or not answered back that is going to make the big difference. So, well, I would have enjoyed Rice 5 a little bit more from Chile, but I can understand if they feel like this is probably their most consistent pick to just kind of path of least resistance this to a match point situation.
Yeah, I definitely think that's probably what's going through their head. We do see actually a mirror coming out from Bambi FNF, a little bit of an interesting choice for a map like this, where I don't think there's too much hand bias in general. Usually just means that there's maybe a small mind block on one pattern.
Yeah, you play a structure enough times and you just start to flub your way through it, and that mirror becomes a godsend at the end of the day. But as it stands, we'll have to wait and see. There's plenty of map to come through here, and this is one of those charts where it's like, I don't think it's the BPM that really catches players out. It's really just the pattern structure of these chords. Very how do I say it? There's pitfalls littered everywhere in this chart that can catch you out, and we see Jerem being the first one to fall victim to it as the density begins to increase here going into the second quarter of the chart.
Yeah, density is starting to spike a little bit with those 6-note chords. Both players on Chile above 99.9, and Jerem right at the end of that difficult section going to find another combo break. It's going to give Chile a nice opportunity to build up some score with this break section coming up. Milla doing what they can to hold on to the combo, but the accuracy from Chile just dominant right now. 99.92, the lower of the two accuracies, and Milla about 0.25% behind, but still holding on to the full combo and still trying to keep it within striking distance if we start to see any mistakes from Chile.
Yeah, it's definitely still within a catchable range, but the misses are going to need to start coming through, and with a little bit of perpetuity here from the Chileans, but so far they have been dialed in through the first 2/3 of this chart, barely flinching the 300 counts, probably at an all-time low at the moment. There's very little in terms of pattern variety outside of this constant 1-2 structure to really throw them off, and it's really just France finding these little hiccups here and there. A full combo reset on their side once again gonna help essentially double this advantage for the Chileans going into the last quarter of the chart. And as things begin to wind down here, it's a little bit of a lull before we get back on into the outro where things begin to really ramp up once again.
Yeah, a little bit of a build-up here before the final section. SebaX does finally find a break for the side of Chile. Not the cleanest break, but still holding above 99.88. Does give a little bit of an in-way, but Jerem continuing to find breaks in this ending section. Lead starts to build up even more, and Bambi with the absolutely ludicrous accuracy is going to bring Chile to match point. It is France's pick, and I'm not... Oh, a 100. Oh, right at the end. He was at 99.98 going into the very ending patterns and dropped to 100. That is tragic.
I mean, that is quintessential core jack play. You have the
it's
immaculate
classic run. We have the classic core jack scores. I mentioned this in the previous match with Potassium, but you could just name these scores and you know it's a core jack pick.
Absolutely. This is just put your finger over the map name. You look at these judgments across the board and it's like, okay, yeah, that was Rice 3. And
Rice 5, the pick from France, trying to stay alive. Don't know if I agree with this.
I mean, backs against the wall. You want to go out swinging? I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, all haymakers from here on out. Why go for something safe when you can just throw things into complete chaos and go for something like Rice 5 to try and work something out?
Yeah, but got a little bit of a long map. France has not looked the strongest on these Rice picks against Chile here. Still had a long map pick available, but they're on their last legs. 1 point away from being eliminated from the tournament and have to do whatever they can to try and make it back. And maybe there's a mindset of, hey, this is going to have to be picked eventually, or we're going to have to play it against Chile eventually. It's going to be picked even if we start winning, so might as well get it out of the way and see if we can handle it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So, as it stands, Chile on the cusp of punching their ticket into the semifinals. France looking to try and keep themselves alive, at least for one more pick. If they're going to go out, they're going to try and go out on their own terms. Going to go for Rice 5. Against what we were thinking. I think we were both thinking maybe LN3 potentially, but I mean, if they feel more comfortable on this, who are we to stop them?
Yeah, I mean, this was a position I was expecting Chile to go for this over Rice
Mhm.
3. So France kind of throwing it right back at us, saying, "Hey, I don't care if Chile was supposed to be the one picking this. We're gonna take this." But here we go, opening patterns coming out. Nothing too difficult, but Jerem finding a little bit of a trip up there on an early pattern. First start coming out, Chile with a small lead as everyone's building up to that 400 combo. Jerem a little bit behind, but a miss before the 400 is going to be less impactful than it would now. So still looking okay. A double miss. Bambi and Jerem trading misses at the same time. Accuracy is going to be the big kicker here, and ZZ currently with the highest accuracy, but misses. Only one full combo left on the board, and that's going to be Milla as that lead starts to shrink just a little bit as combos start to build up.
Yeah, as everybody starts to get back over that 400 combo cap, the fact that Jerem gets there that little bit sooner than ZZ, and with Bambi now falling once again. Oh, Jerem falls as well. The trades going back and forth between these two rosters, keeping Chile ahead by the slightest of margins as there's another trade at the bottom of the lobby. ZZ and Jerem trading back and forth going into the second third here.
Only one major combo left on the board at the moment. Bambi is going to hit 400, but Milla holding strong with that combo, being a little bit behind in accuracy compared to the Chilean players. But ZZ's going to find another drop, and that lead might just swing over to France just off of the combo consistency that they're showing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. This free time, a full combo reset on the side of Chileans. Jerem trades one of them back, but Milla still holding strong with the full combo going into the last third of the chart. Maybe not the highest accuracy in the lobby, but who needs accuracy when you can combo your game your way to a potential victory? 3,000 points to the good, not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. There's still so much left to read through in this last quarter that could potentially be their undoing. The accuracy style starting to play a factor as Milla finally goes down. Bambi and ZZ able to pick up the pieces here as Milla finds yet another drop. A full combo reset on the side of France going into the last days of the chart. Chile has recovered. They both have above that 400 combo cap and the accuracy to boot as France starting to fall apart here at the end, the 11th hour. And Chile running away with it, 27,000 points now to the good.
Oh my goodness, Milla was showing such great consistency there and then falls apart a little bit as the Chileans find some footing in that core stream section to end. And despite it being a little dicey there, Chile going to complete their victory 6-1 against France in the quarterfinals and will move on to top 12 and a loser's bracket semifinals match against Malaysia. Congratulations to them. And with that, unfortunately, France has been eliminated in a top 16 position.
Yeah, commiserations to them, but I mean, they put up a hell of a fight. It is not easy going back to back in terms of matches, being able to close out Canada, just running out of steam here at the very end, meeting their maker against Chile. Congratulations to them, securing that top 12 positioning going into next week. And it's going to be a bit of a tough customer going up against Malaysia, but I mean, if they can keep the consistency, just keep their heads above water against them, I can fancy their chances potentially pulling off a bit of an upset there. But that will do it for the quarterfinals weekend. All that is left is that all-important semifinals map will showcase. Gotta be able to show off to the players what they can be expecting next weekend. But Toph, we still got one last thing before we officially close it out here.
I think my amnesia has been fixed. I've been forgetting about it every single time, but I think I remember this time. And it's that I remembered that there's banners at the OSU store. I think that's it. Would you care to explain what a banner is?
Oh, absolutely. A banner is something that you can use to decorate your OS profile with for the low cost of $2.50 USD. You can pick them up at the OS store. You can support any of the 32 teams that made it to this year's edition of the Mania 7 Key World Cup, even those that have already been eliminated. You can pick as few as you want, you can pick as many as you want, you can have all 32 teams, or you can just choose to support your personal favorite. You have full freedom to support the players, support the tournament, and show off your support. How does that sound, Toph?
That sounds wonderful. I'm glad I remembered it this time because I've been forgetting it for all of these matches, and it's so nice to be able to remember what is the beauty of these banners. And I hope you guys all take some time to go to the Osu store and buy some banners for like you said, any of the 32 teams that made it to bracket stage, and support this tournament and these wonderful, wonderful players. With that, we've got 12 teams remaining in this tournament, 8 in the losers bracket and 4 in the winners bracket. We'll be saying goodbye to 6 more of these teams next week, but before we say goodbye to them, we will have one more thing left, and that's going to be the semifinal showcase. It's going to be some exciting stuff. You got anything else to say, Sparky?
No, I think you've got everything covered. So for right now, we're gonna take a tiny bit of a break, get everything set up for that showcase. But until then, we'll catch you guys later.